Yes, it's true. I've just bought the cheapest R56 Mini Cooper S in the country. Before we get into things, before we get into exactly why I bought this car, do me a massive favour, give this video a big thumbs up. It really does help me out and it shows your appreciation. Let's try and get 500 likes on this video. Now then, am I absolutely crazy for buying another R56 Mini Cooper S? For those that don't know, I bought one of these cars a good few years ago now and pretty much rebuilt it from the ground up. Done a huge complete engine rebuild on it because the N14 engines in these are built like absolute Swiss cheese and they come with a whole bunch of common problems from factory. Now, straight up, do I plan on doing the exact same thing to this car? No, I definitely do not. Now the question that you all are probably wondering is exactly how much did I pay for this car? And don't worry, I am going to let you know in this video exactly how much I paid for this car. It really was not much at all. So then let me give you some details about this car. So I bought this car from I believe he was a scrap man / recovery man, and I imagine he bought it off the previous owner of this car, because I do have the logbook for this car, and he said that the previous owner said that this thing doesn't run. So do we have catastrophic engine failure? Do we have, you know, a snap timing chain? Do we have a burnt out exhaust valve, which is a very, very common problem on these cars? I don't really know what the case is, but this car is basically a non-runner, and I bought this car to break for parts essentially because I got it so cheap, and I don't think it's worth spending much on it to fix it up because it is without an MOT. I think it's got like 11 or 12 past owners. It doesn't have any service history and it's not really in the best shape. I mean, if you have a look there, it's a couple of different shades of blue, it looks like. The wheels themselves are not actually bad. It's more the tyres. It would need probably 4 new tyres all round. As you can see, there are a few trim panels all around the car missing, although I'm led to believe that they are all inside it. Yeah, that would kind of ring true. We have all sorts in here. Maybe it's going to give us some clues as to what has happened with this car. But it does come with a leather interior, which I think would probably clean up quite nice. I don't know how much these leather interiors are worth, but yeah, if I can clean these up quite nice, I'm sure I'll probably get most of my money back on those. Obviously, with it being a Cooper S, you have the Cooper S trims, you have the aluminium pedal covers. Do we have anything in the boot? Free microfiber. Looks like the tool tray's been raided. We do have some sort of aftermarket exhaust on. I don't know if it's just the back box, or maybe we can have a look underneath actually. Okay, so it doesn't have a back box. I don't even think it has a centre section. Then that's just straight through from the downpipe, so I bet that's pretty loud then. Basically a straight through exhaust. Oh, also have this as well, which, yeah, you can probably guess that this car was owned by a bit of a boy racer with a loud exhaust and a doll's head hanging from the back of it. Fun. Wiper delete, standard modification. Blacked out badges. Yeah, wrapped light surrounds. This looks like it's been wrapped as well, the fuel cap. And yeah, I think the wheels have been painted, not done the worst of jobs, but also not done the best. I will point out as well, I have done a couple of things off camera. When this car came to me, that wheel there was actually off. Was it this one or was it the other side? No, maybe one of the back wheels, the tyre was off the rim. And I went to put some air in it and the air was just going straight back out. And I took the wheel off and I noticed that the core inside of the valve was completely missing. Like, what the hell has gone on there? Why was there a wheel with the core missing from the valve? I mean, it's not really something that can fall out. I don't really know why someone would remove one, but yeah, it just meant that, you know, moving this thing around with the wheel, with the tyre off of the rim, it made it so difficult. So yeah, I just put well, it was a used core back in the valve, and as you can see, the tyre is holding air. So yeah, I don't really know what the story was with that. I've also charged the battery as well, just so we can get some power to it. Like I say, I'm not really expecting to start it up, but if we can maybe plug a diagnostic machine into it and we can see which fault codes are present. If we have a look in the engine bay as well, if you know these engines, you'll probably notice we have a lack of an airbox. I think there's something aftermarket in the back. Like I said, I haven't had too much of a look in here, but I think this is like an aftermarket scoop for it. I'll take this all out in a bit and have a look properly what we've got. But yeah, can we spot anything in here which maybe would indicate as to what is the issue? Let's check to see if we have oil. I mean, we have oil. I mean, it's it looks like it's overfilled, but we have oil. Let's see what the filler cap is telling us. Do we have a milkshake scenario? I'll tell you what, that looks pretty clean in there, to be fair. That really doesn't look too bad. So that's not really telling us much. I have noticed though we are lacking coolant. Now, is there a huge coolant leak, or is one of the coolant... Now, is there a huge coolant leak, or is the coolant just being drained for whatever reason? Maybe a coolant pipe has just been disconnected. I don't know. I think these may suffer from head gasket as well. I do think it's the earlier R53 engine models that suffer with the head gasket, but I think these potentially do on occasion. Okay, I don't know why we don't have any coolant. Don't know what's going on there. That's not a genuine part. It's the pipe's all kinked, but yeah, I'm not going to bother looking into it too much. It would be good to get it started just to kind of see how it runs. I will attempt to get it started, but yeah, I'm not going to go too crazy. So you can see the intake pipe is missing. Do we have any play on the turbo? No, the turbo seems pretty good, to be fair. Nice tiny turbo on these. Yeah, apart from the lack of airbox and the intake pipe, everything seems to be relatively intact in here. Obviously this is not a factory item, it's an aftermarket thing. But yeah, I can't really see why... Oh, that is the ground for the ignition coil wiring. That's disconnected. I don't think it's going to start with that disconnected, is it? Hold on a minute. Wait there. The rocker cover's loose. All the bolts are loose. So somebody's definitely had this rocker cover off then. And the guy who bought this off did mention something about previous owner thought it was something to do with the timing chain. So I don't know. I don't think if the timing had jumped or if the timing was a little bit out, I don't think that would make it, I don't think that would, you know, cause it not to start. It would cause it to rattle, or it would cause it to, you know, run a little bit lumpy, but it wouldn't cause it to not start. If the timing chain had snapped, then that's a different story. Obviously, yeah, it'd lock up the engine, but yeah, we have a fresh battery. We have oil. We don't have coolant, but we have oil. We have a fresh battery. Should we just get in, you know, turn the key, or I guess not turn the key. We'll insert one of our 2 key fobs and just press the start button, see what happens. Oh, do we even have power? I don't even think we have power. That's strange. Did charge the battery. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so we have ignition. Mileage 112,000, which is quite high mileage for one of these actually. Yeah, I think I'm going to try and start this, just see what happens really. Don't have much fuel though, so I don't think that's going to help either. Now before we attempt to get the Mini Cooper S fired up, let me tell you about today's video sponsor, Holy. Now Holy is a great way of both staying hydrated and getting your energy in. Now their hydration range contains some essential vitamins and electrolytes. Their energy range is a great alternative to energy drinks, or if you're not a big coffee drinker like myself, but you still want a great way of getting some caffeine in your day. And then their iced tea range serves as a nice tasty beverage. Now my personal favorite in the hydration range is this lemon flavor. It honestly tastes like lemon sherbet. You know those sweets you had as a kid? Yes, this tastes exactly like it. So to mix one of these sachets up, very, very simple and easy to do. Grab your Holy shaker, add around 500 milliliters of water, simply pour in and give it a shake, and then enjoy. Tasty way for hitting your hydration needs. Now if you do want to get yourself one of the starter sets to try all of the flavors before committing to one of their larger tubs, you can do so using the link down in that description box below. You can use code George5 to save £5 off your first order, or use code George to save 10% on all future orders. Thanks Holy for sponsoring the video. But now let's get back to it. Right, so I'm just going to crank it and just see what happens really. What the hell? What the hell? It runs. It literally runs. It does sound very loud though. I mean the engine sounds a little bit tappy. Like I say, it probably doesn't help because all the rocker cover bolts are loose. Exhaust is very loud though. Definitely sounds like it's misfiring as well. Let me, I think I'm going to put the, hold on, let me switch this off a sec. So, let me try and gather my thoughts then. I literally haven't done anything. I've just charged the battery. I've put a tyre back on its rim. And now all of a sudden the engine starts. Like, what's up with that? And didn't actually sound that bad. I mean, if you know these engines, they do sound quite loud anyway, quite tappety, but yeah, that didn't really sound that bad. I mean, yeah, the exhaust sounded quite loud and it sounded like it had a misfire, but I wouldn't be surprised if this just has like a burnt out exhaust valve causing that misfire. Could be wrong, but I guess I'm not gonna dive into things to find out. But I think what we should do is, just for the sake of it, just to see if we have any power, because at the moment we're not going to have any because the intake pipe's not connected. I think I will I don't think I'm going to be able to, actually, because I don't have an air box. Right, before we go any further, let's take out what we have inside the car, because like I said, I have no idea what's in here. So it's to have a good look at what we have, and then we'll form a plan as to what we're going to do going forward. Alright, so I think this is the lower part of the front bumper, isn't it? The splitter, if you could say that. Ah, okay. I mean, that might not be right. So here we have a front intake scoop, I guess you'd call it. I think this goes from, I think the air goes in through there and then connects to an air box. This is started to melt here. I think that's because it's probably been on top of the turbo heat shield, kind of unprotected. Could still be good to go again though, I suppose. We have half a tool tray, empty bottle, another empty bottle, what the... food, lube. Didn't even know that was a thing. Some gloves. Intake pipe. Front grille, which has been wrapped. Why is there just pure rubbish in here? Another bottle. Like, parcel shelf. The thinnest jump cable known to man. That thing that goes on top of the battery. Nice little swan neck ratchet spanner, 8 and 9 mil. Nice to have a 10 mil one, but hey ho. Ooh, profit from the job. A £1 piece. We're getting our money back already. I bet once we take these seats out as well, we'll find a few more pennies. Yeah, there's just a lot of just like actual rubbish in here though. I don't know how somebody can use a car like this. Right, so I've just gave the interior a bit of a clear out just to get rid of some of the rubbish, and I thought I would attempt to give the seats a bit of a clean up, and they had a bit of a stain on them, but that seems to have cleaned off, so I think these seats will come up lovely with a good proper clean. So I think I've decided I'm not gonna go very far with this car. I am gonna plug it in. I'll see what fault codes come up, but then I think I'm just gonna call it a day. Like I said, I bought this to break for parts. I'm not gonna waste any time. I've got a lot of things I need to be getting on with, namely this garage, various other cars as well. So yeah, let's get it plugged in, see what the fault codes are telling us, and then I'll let you know exactly how much I paid for this car, and then we can get it up for sale for breaking for parts. If you do have one of these cars and you need any bits, then let me know. You know, any parts that I have can go cheap. I think it's got some upgraded bits. So it has an AirTech intercooler. It's got, well, the remains of the AEM intake. I mean, this will still be fine. It doesn't look the best, but it'll still be fine. And then obviously the airbox, just need the filter to go with it. But yeah, I'm waffling at this point. Let's get it plugged in, see what the fault code is telling us. So just gave the car a scan then, and to be honest, I'm not really seeing, I mean, bear in mind all these are historic, so I'll obviously clear these and then run the engine, then do another scan, but I'm not actually seeing any, you know, fault codes that are too worrying. There's a couple for the inlet camshaft sensor, and that's about it. I mean, there's one for the Vanos, and then just one site for the engine temperature, catalytic converter, and alternator. There's not really, like I was expecting to see, like misfire codes, you know, engine timing, but I'm not really seeing a whole lot of that. So yeah, let's clear these fault codes, start the engine, and then try again. Let's fire the engine up. I think it, because it does sort of struggle to start, but I think that's because it's got like next to no fuel then. I mean, if you look at those revs, it's completely stable, or says that, just dropped. Yeah, it does seem like it is misfiring, to be fair. And like I said, the engine is a little bit tappy, but it's not terrible. It does smell very rich, but I think that's oh, not quite sure what that is. That looks like soot's coming out the exhaust. Let me give it a little rev. Difficult to say. Right, so just fired up the engine, gave it a good rev, and these were the only fault codes that came back, to be honest. There's the obligatory FRM, the footwell module fault codes, and then yeah, just one for the alternator, one for the, yeah, that's for the FRM, and then one for the inlet camshaft sensor. So I would say the only thing wrong with this engine is it probably needs a timing chain. I'd say that's why it's thrown that inlet camshaft sensor fault. Maybe the timing's out slightly, maybe the chain has stretched slightly, and that's probably why it sounds a little bit tappy. But it doesn't sound terrible. Like I said, these engines are quite loud from factory. So, I mean, has somebody really scrapped this car because it needs a timing chain? It would be an awful shame, especially as somebody has quite clearly spent a lot of money on it. You know, doing little bits and pieces, not to my taste, but, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, it does seem an awful shame to scrap this car. Like I said, it's not worth me personally putting the time and money into this thing, because when all's said and done, it's never going to be a mint car. I mean, it's not in mint condition anyway. It's got, you know, various paint issues. It needs, you know, a lot of panels respraying. I'd need to source, you know, intake pipes. I need to do the timing chain. I need to source the airbox. I'd need to, you know, like I said, all 4 new tyres. I need to get an MOT. It's going to have a load of other hidden problems, let's be honest. It's going to have, you know, suspension components that need doing. And as I mentioned, it doesn't have any service history. It's had like 12 owners or so. So realistically, even if I was to spend a good amount of money on this car, put it through an MOT, get it road legal, it's not going to be worth a hell of a lot, is it? Let's be honest. Now then, exactly how much did I pay for this 2009 R56 Mini Cooper S? I'm sure you're all wanting to know. So for this 2009 R56 Mini Cooper S, which I was led to believe didn't run but does in fact run, I paid the grand sum of £500. Yes, just £500, making this the cheapest now running and potentially driving. I haven't even tried to drive it, I will try that next, but the cheapest running and potentially driving R56 Mini Cooper S in the country at this present moment. Yeah, it's a lot of car for the money, but these cars require a lot of money spending on them. So, like I said, that's why I am just going to be breaking this car for parts, because it's not worth my time, effort and money saving this car, unfortunately. So, this thing runs. Now let's find out if it will drive. The gearboxes on these are pretty good. They don't really have too many problems. The clutches though, they don't last too long. Probably 70 to 80,000 miles on average. So with this being on 113, it's either got a clutch that's on its last legs or it's already had a clutch replaced. Oh, no bueno. I think it's not even firing up now. Yeah, it's not even firing up. I think we just don't have enough fuel. That's got to be a fuel problem. Still runs. Are we moving? Clutch is almost fully up. Yeah, the clutch is very high, so I think this clutch is on its last legs. But we're moving. It drives. And it also stops, which is good. Yeah, clutch is so high though. But we have reverse. Let's see if we have a cheeky little second gear. Yeah, we have second gear. So I'm going to assume the gearbox is fine. That's not a contributing factor as to why this thing was sent to scrap. I think it's just that timing chain. And like I said, it does need a clutch, to be fair. Well, it wouldn't be long before it did need a clutch, and that's not a cheap job, so probably got something partly to do with it. I think it's just really low on fuel as well, to be fair. Well then, there we go. That is the cheapest R56 Mini Cooper S in the country. And yeah, I couldn't really find anything too wrong with it. As you know, this video is probably been a bit anticlimactic. I didn't expect to just turn the key and it fire up, but yeah, it's a shame really, because you know, this car really shouldn't be scrapped just because it needs a timing chain and probably a couple of other little bits and pieces as well. But it's kind of how things are now when a car is between 15 and 20 years old. People are not prepared to put a little bit of time and money into it, which I think they will regret. I mean, this is, yeah, at the moment, this is, you know, these cars aren't worth a hell of a lot, but I think in the future, as the numbers decrease and, you know, there's less and less of these on the road, I think they will start to creep up in value because they are a bundle of fun to drive. They are a great car when they do work. They just require a little bit of constant maintenance, you could say. But yeah, it is a shame, but needs must. I've kept one of these things on the road, that's all I will say. And this one will be used to keep many more on the road with all the parts that it will be supplying. But I want to wrap this video up anyway. Hopefully you all have enjoyed it. Remember to give it a like, leave a comment down below, subscribe if you have not already done so, and I'll see you all very, very soon in that next one.